Hello. Hello. Okay, we'll give everybody just a few minutes to join from the last session, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Can somebody give me a thumbs up? Oh, Alan, you can see me and hear me. Yay, it works. For those of you that don't know, Alan and I have been having a lot of fun with my computer system this week. So it is a minor miracle that you are actually seeing me and hearing me. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Once I go into presentation mode, I won't be able to see any questions. So Alan, if you could help me out there, that would be great. If anything pops in, just go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I'll make sure that we have time for questions at the end. So let me start sharing. Okay. So welcome, and I'm really excited to talk to you about integrating TI into the business. And really, my focus today will be driving insights into action. So as we go into this, I really have three questions I thought that we should answer. One, who am I? Who's Fran Walsh? Why is she talking to me? Two, what challenges will our business face in 2023? Three, how does talent intelligence assist with these business challenges? I will probably stop sharing as we go into some of these questions just so that we can have some interaction. But to start out, first, who's Fran Walsh? Well, if you've done a little internet sleuthing, you can see what you see on LinkedIn. I've had quite a long career with Kimberly-Clark. I've been with Kimberly-Clark over 16 years full-time, but actually did a series of internships with Kimberly-Clark while I was in school. I started out as a scientist working on product development, then moved into strategy. From strategy, somehow a PhD scientist got into sales. I spent about 10 years in sales, both on our industrial side as well as on our diapers side. So I'm one of the few people I think that can say I've sold everything from welding helmets to baby diapers for the same company. After spending a lot of time in the field, I was ready to not talk to our customers every day. Moved into strategy right as COVID hit, probably did one of the world's shortest stints in strategy, and very quickly was pulled over to our transformation team. And our transformation team really is a strategy execution team, a special task force to work on global projects. From there, I had the privilege of meeting my team leader, Cynthia, and she asked me if I would start a talent intelligence team. And so that is why I'm talking to you today. So that's my professional side, but there's also a personal side. And so, kind of what you see on Instagram. I am a semi professional, very competitive curler. In fact, just won silver at our national arenas 2 weeks ago. So, very big part of my life. And if you want to talk curling, I'll talk that for hours. My husband and I have 3 cats. They are babies. Buster may join us for part of the session. He likes to sit on my armchair. And then I'm also really active in our women in business community and just being with friends and enjoying our time in Dallas. When I think about how I approach work and how I approach life, I've got kind of 4 guiding principles. The first one is a love of learning. I'm always learning. Every day I learn something new. The second one is a mindset of experimentation, really working on that growth mindset, making sure that there's that opportunity to experiment and grow. And that really goes to the fourth one, driving growth, driving progress, driving change within the teams that I work with, and ultimately always doing it together. I love being part of a team. I love working together, sharing ideas, and really taking a vision forward. So a few of you may be wondering, who is Kimberly-Clark or what is Kimberly-Clark? So Kimberly-Clark is actually in 175 countries, and we estimate that we provide services to 1/4 of the world every day. You can see some of our products there. We are over 150 years old now. We have over 50,000 employees, a little under 20 billion in net sales, and actually have one or two share position in 80 countries. And that includes a number of brands that will seem really familiar as I show them here. But above all, Kimberly-Clark really has, as you can see from 150 years of care and better care for a better world, a caring culture. And that is reflected really within our employees as well as within the people we serve. And we are lucky to be recognized again for that this year by Forbes being one of the world's best employers. So as we started to think about how do we best serve our employees, how do we best serve our customers, and really upping our game, Cynthia asked me to start a talent intelligence team. So this is my team. We are very new, founded in February 2022. In fact, the last person on the team started at the beginning of the month. We are part of talent acquisition. We report up through talent acquisition into HR. But when I present ourselves to the business, I always present us as talent intelligence because we are so much more than just working on acquiring our talent. Our goal is to be consultants for both the HR and businesses. We have a global team footprint. We span over 3 continents and 5 countries. We are working on developing regional and functional expertise. And doing so, we deploy an agile flow to work model. With my team being so spread out and frankly virtual, we are extremely performance based and we employ radical flexibility. And that's one of the things that I think is really important because we are promoting flexibility as a tool that we should be using with our employees. I want to make sure that we are employing that tool ourselves. So let's get into what our vision is. So when we think about it, we want to make sure that we are providing thought partnership to our businesses. And so that's really the goal. And I've heard some great comments around the academics and that opportunity really to drive conversations with market insights. I know we all talk about when we have to have those hard conversations, the conversations that the business doesn't want to hear. And how do we do that? And really, we do that by making sure that we are thought partners and we are bringing market insights into the business. And the last part for us is really focusing in on what are the needs of HR and the needs of our businesses, and really what is their need in driving KC's strategy and competitive advantage. And ultimately, our goal is to bring in best talent. And by best talent, I don't mean that we bring in all hypo, but really that we're making sure that the quality, the quantity, and the cost are appropriate for what that strategy is. And we use talent intelligence really in these five main ways. So, through market analysis, role design, sourcing strategy, location intelligence, and competitive benchmarking. And that allows us to answer a number of the questions below. So, I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'd love to hear what are the biggest business trends that you are facing in 2023. And if you could put your responses in the chat, that would be great. I'm hearing talent shortage, recession headwinds, hybrid versus remote. What other business challenges are you seeing? Skills gap widening, definitely. Okay. Well, as we're looking at it, I'm going to share my screen again. When we look at it, we can ask Forbes, what is Forbes seeing as the biggest business trends we'll face in 2023? The first one is accelerated digital transformation. The second is inflation and supply chain security. The third is sustainability. The fourth is immersive customer experience. And the fifth, if we roll up what we were just talking about, is that talent challenge. When we look at the talent challenge specifically, I think it starts to call out some of the things in the chat. Flexibility, quiet quitting, fulfilling work, skills gaps, career development, opportunities, technology, rising salaries, DE&I, and of course, the hybrid, the great resignation, great reorganization, and remote. When we look at that, the question really becomes, how can we use talent intelligence to help the businesses with these challenges? So, how are you currently using talent intelligence to help the business with these challenges? Again, I'll stop sharing so I can see your chat. Yes, James, that disconnect between manager understanding of the market versus the reality. How else are you using talent? I see, Heather, you said the war on talent on how to attract the business. Other thoughts about how we can use talent intelligence? Talent flow analysis. Where is the talent going? Where is it coming from? That's a great answer, Sharon. Thank you. Skills gap analysis. Yes. Herman, we've spent some time on that, haven't we? Okay. So awesome. We're getting a couple more. Raising awareness by showcasing and highlighting market trends, creating a clear link between TI and business results, competitor analysis, candidate experience analysis, location strategy. Yes, Alan, that's a big one. So when we think about it, sorry, let me get back to my share of screen. My team likes to boil it down into one kind of simple idea. And that idea is we help make the complex simple. We just talked about how many different things are going on, especially in the world of talent. And so how do we go about making the complex simple? Our goal really is to deliver actionable insights in a concise and compelling manner. And I love this quote from Steve Jobs. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end because once you get there, you can move mountains. And really, as we think about what we're doing in TI these days and the talent shortages that we're all facing, it is really our big goal to help move mountains for our companies and for our customers. So how do we go about making the complex simple? We do it in a couple of different ways. first, we really focus on insights that drive overall understanding of the market. And as you know, the candidate needs drive the talent market, and the candidate-driven market is really a big influence in all of these discussions, helping people understand what's going on, why they can't get the talent they need, or how do they best achieve it. And for one, we have lots of conversations around candidates and remote and relocation. And I think that the stat down there in the bottom right is so critical to be talking about, is the fact that only 13% are willing to relocate right now, while 87% would be willing to work remote for in a different state or city, as this is US data for this particular one. We also work on insights that benchmark KC against our peers, helping the business understand where there are opportunities to improve, where there are opportunities to focus, and where we're doing well. And we can use those bright spots to really pull that what's going on there into the rest of the organization. We also work on insights that focus by strategy. There's so often we have kind of a scattered approach on who we want to go after when we have a role, but rather really understanding what are those companies and what do they offer for Kimberly-Clark, how attractive are they to us, but also then for the potential employee. What is the attractiveness of KC, and how does KC fit that current culture that they're in? And really stack ranking those companies to understand where we can get the most benefit, and ideally the candidate that fits for that role that's open the best. And then we also really work on insights that create opportunities to refine strategies. There's a lot of great strategies in place, but a lot of those strategies are based on information that we had either before the pandemic or maybe even in the height of the pandemic, and things have been changing. So we look at what's going on within our competition. What are the companies that we are really competing against to find the talent? Are they the companies that we think they should be? Because oftentimes they're searching for talent and we're searching for talent, and it's not necessarily the competitors that we compete with on brand. Another one is really understanding different locations. What is available in terms of talent? What is the market like? What is the cost of that talent? And who else is out there that is searching for that talent, so that we can make strategic decisions on whether or not we should continue to source talent in these locations, or we should expand or contract that sourcing. And then lastly, understanding how we are approaching roles versus our competition. Understanding what are those skills that we're looking for, what are the skills that our peer sets are looking for, and taking those insights and really using them all to help refine our overall strategy. And so my question to you is, how can you start driving actionable insights? And I've got a couple ideas for you. The first one is really to take the time to understand your business long-term goals and their needs. What are their KPIs that are driving success? And then how can you support them with data to really drive those KPIs, making sure that you're targeting the information that's going to help them make the decision easier, help simplify that decision. Second is really making it simple and repeatable for yourselves, spending the time within the team to create standards, create templates, create models that really drive that repeatability, and allow you to present your data in a consistent manner to your customers, to your stakeholders, so that they can focus on the data versus how you put it on the page. And then lastly, make sure that you're cultivating a culture of continuous learning within your team and helping promote that outside of your team. Really working on upskilling, sharing best practices, and creating that culture where you're continuously learning from each other. And one of the best practices we implement as a global team is we always have a team member from another region review the work before we send it out. And that provides two things. One, that really helps us share and learn across and make sure that we're not putting up boundaries just based on geography. It also helps us to very quickly get that feedback and quality check because of the time zone differences within the team. But above all, really make your work actionable. Make sure you drive clear considerations and recommendations that can help the business make the decisions they need to drive their strategy. And so, with that, I have one last question for you. What is the one action that you're going to take? Please go ahead and put your responses in the chat. But lastly, just wanted to say thank you. And here's just a little bit of information about me. So I'm going to stop sharing so that I can open it up for questions and we can talk about the actions that everyone's going to take. So see, I'm getting some feedback. Lyndon, you said I like the detail on the scale on slide 18. You noticed that the scales were approximal to the ratio. Yes, we did that on purpose. Luke, 100% agree. The business KPI link for the exec team and the data to help them make informed decisions. Yes, that's one of ours that we've really been working on. And let's work smarter, not harder. Thanks, Sharon. I know we work on that every day. Other questions, thoughts? So what's the type of study that made a difference in your reputation as a team? You know, I think that the one of the fun things about having a new TI function in a company is that the driving the awareness of the information that is available. A lot of people, and I know on the last panel, they talked about communication and selling. And I was smiling at that as Lyndon, you were saying, you're not the salesperson. You know, luckily I've got a little experience in that, and I've been the salesperson for a number of years, and it is a place that I really enjoy being and selling my team. You know, we've had some situations where somebody's reached out to us and said, "Well, I think I should use you, but I really don't know what you're going to provide." So this is kind of a check the box exercise. And then you turn it around and you're able to provide very detailed information on, in this case, it was location analysis that really helped drive and reinforce the decision that they actually were already making. And that ability to give them that detailed data that was very focused on the KPIs that they were focusing on changed the individual's complete perception of us and our function completely. To the point of really saying, I can't believe we didn't have this before. This is some of the best information that I've gotten, and really wanting to connect more with our team. The other thing that we've done a lot of is we've really started to connect with our managed services team that manages all of our real estate portfolio. And working with them really on understanding what's around in our at our current locations. How are we currently using our locations? What are best practices within those locations? What's the community around those locations? Do we have the right functions working there? And what are the different things that we can do to drive that overall conversation and make sure we're making the right long-term decisions as we're reviewing our real estate portfolio? I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are also dealing with that, because that is something I think that's going to come up more and more, especially in the United States, as we look at, you know, only having about 40% return to office compared to, and 40% office utilization compared to the 80 to 90% that we were pre-pandemic. Other thoughts or questions? Oh, thank you, Mercedes. Perfect. Sorry, guys. I forgot about the Q&A. Okay. What's the one thing that surprised you most about working in TI? Great question, Luke. it's kind of funny because I didn't realize, and this is probably a little bit broader, but how similar our talent acquisition functions and our sales functions are, and how much overlap and correlation there are between the two. And to be honest, while that's really been surprising to me, it's really also been something that's been a comfort because it's been in my bailiwick, right? I've been doing sales for 10 years, and that ability to be able to support the business in a way that is helping them drive decisions and really influencing and honestly selling our information to them has been really really good. What's one thing you would have done differently? That's a good question too. You know, it took me a while to get my team set up, and I think all told that was a really good thing. But I would have loved to have my team set up faster. That I think we were still able to kickstart, but it was kind of the Sharon and Fran show for quite a while. So that's one thing I would have done differently. I also think I would probably do even more selling, really pushing that, and getting into the right, getting in front of the right audiences, thinking strategically about beyond HR, who do I need to get in front of in order for us to really be impactful? And when I think about that, I think about the connections we've made with the real estate teams, the connections now that we're starting to make with the other strategy teams, making sure that they're aware of the ability to really help each other out. So those would be things that I would do is really as I think about it, one, trying to kickstart by hiring even faster than I was able to, and two, really sitting down and saying, okay, what are the strategic parts of the business? What are the strategic teams that I need to connect with in order to be more impactful, and have a quicker impact with the business? Great. If there aren't any other questions, I would love to give everybody just a couple minutes to stretch before the next session. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you attending, and I look forward to connecting with all of you. Please feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, follow my boys on Instagram if you're a cat person, and I look forward to talking with you all in the future. Thank you.